Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important terms used in the financial market, that are stocks. The textbook definition of a stock is a security that represents the ownership of a fraction of a corporation. Now this might sound all complicated, so I'm going to start from the basics so that you can understand the world of the financial market. But before we dive into the world of stocks, we have to understand one key term, that is the balance sheet, and what it is and how it works. Now, balance sheet refers to a financial statement of a corporation reporting its assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity. Now, I'm going to break it down the statement and make you guys understand the meaning of the balance sheet. So generally, a balance sheet looks something like this. On the left hand side, you have the assets. On the right hand side, you have the liabilities. And on the bottom right hand corner, you have the equity. Now this is literally how a balance sheet looks like. So on the left hand corner, they make a box and write the assets, and the right hand corner the liabilities, and the bottom right hand corner the equity. So what does all this means? Now the textbook definition of an asset is a useful and desirable thing or quality. Now assets can vary from different things like cars, houses, even the clothes I'm wearing. Why? Because this cloth protects me from the harsh weather, and the car enables me to move from point A to point B in a faster amount of time, and this house protects me from the uncertainties of the weather. Now this all gives a value in life and meets our basic requirements. Now the textbook definition of a liability is the state of being legally responsible for something. Now a simple example of a liability is a bank loan. So you take a loan from the bank and you have to repay it in a given period of time with the interest. So that is a liability for you and an asset for the bank, because the bank is going to get the money from you with added interest. So it's an asset for them, but we got to pay within the given period of time. So that is a liability for us. That is something we owe to another person. Now I'm going to come to equity after some time. So if you looked at this diagram over here, you will notice that assets, which I'm going to denote by A, liabilities by L, equity by E. So assets is equal to liabilities plus equity. By looking at this diagram, you can see the space occupied by assets is equal to the space occupied by liabilities plus equity. This is the basic accounting formula and is really important when we are moving forward to more complex situations. So this is why I said this balance sheet literally looks like this, because people represent it as assets equals liabilities plus equity. Now basic maths, what is equity? It is nothing but assets minus liabilities is equity. So suppose I have a 1 crore home which I want to buy. So I go into the bank and then ask them for 75 lakhs of loan. So let's just say there is no interest, just for the simplicity of this problem. So what are my assets? My assets are the 1 crore home which I bought for using my money. 1 crore. Now that was not entirely my money. There was 75 lakhs taken from the bank. So that is a liability for me because I have to repay that amount. So in this case there is no interest, but in the real world situation there is going to be interest. So what is equity in this scenario? I will denote equity with E. With this formula, I had earlier said that equity is equal to assets minus liabilities, which is 1 crore, which is nothing but 100 lakhs, right? 100 lakhs minus 75 lakhs, it's nothing but 25 lakhs. Now my equity is 25 lakhs. What does this mean? So let's just say I have to move into another country. So I have to sell my house. So let's just say the value of the house has not appreciated or depreciated. So the value of the house has remained the same since I bought and when I am about to sell. So I bought this for 1 crore rupees and I want to sell it to the market. I want to find a buyer to sell this for. Let's just say the buyer is willing to pay you 1 crore in cash. So when you sell that 1 crore, when you sell that flat, you're going to get 1 crore from the buyer. He's going to give you 1 crore in return for that flat because you both matched an agreement where the seller and the buyer is willing to meet at a particular price point. In this scenario, the price point is 1 crore rupees. So the buyer gave the seller 1 crore rupees. So in your pocket, you have 1 crore rupees right now. But you can't eat it all up because you own the bank 75 lakhs. Because you had in the first place you had purchased the flat using the 75 lakhs of the bank. So obviously you have to pay them back. So after you pay them back, you're going to be left with 25 lakhs. This is known as equity. Equity is nothing but what your assets are worth minus how much you owe others. That is the liability. So that is equity. So hope you understood what assets, liabilities and equities are. Equity is nothing but what you have left after you paid back all your debitors. Debitors are nothing but the people who you got to pay the money. In this case, the debitors were the banks. So we owed the bank 75 lakhs and we get to keep 25 lakhs. But in this case, the equity was positive, but not always. So let's just, this was case 1. If you want, you can write this down because writing actually helps you in memorizing and you need not go through the video again and again. You can just refer your notes. In case 2, assets on the left hand side, liabilities on the right hand side, equity in the bottom right hand side. It's really important that you actually know the structure of a balance sheet. It's really important. So you had bought the assets for 1 crore like the previous case. 1 crore. You owe the bank 75 lakhs just like the previous case. So let's just say after some time you have to sell the asset. For the simplicity, let's just say the asset has depreciated in the value. There is people are flooding that country, so the real estate value has dropped. So you bought it for 1 crore, but the market or the buyers are only willing to pay you 60 lakhs. Really important. You paid 1 crore for a real estate, but the market value for this is just 60 lakhs. So you assumed your asset was 1 crore, but in reality it was only 60 lakhs. So 1 crore wiped out. Now your assets are reduced to just 60 lakhs. So what will be your equity in this case? As I said earlier before, assets minus liabilities is equity. What are assets? 60 lakh. Why? But the market is only willing to pay 60 lakhs. Maybe because in neighborhood there was some issue or whatever. How much? So assets are only worth 60 lakhs minus. What are the liabilities? You owe the bank 75 lakhs. So 75. What is the equity? Note here it comes as negative 15 lakhs. Why does it come as negative? Because your liabilities exceed the assets. Whenever your liability actually exceeds the asset, your equity becomes negative. It becomes non-existent. So hope you understand the whole scenario of a balance sheet: assets, liabilities, equity, and you will later on understand why I brought this up when discussing about stocks. As I said earlier, the textbook definition of a stock is a security that represents the ownership of a fraction of a corporation. Now, I have drawn the balance sheet here again for your reference. So, what does it mean when you buy one share or when you buy shares of a publicly traded company? That is, it appears on the stock exchange. So, When you buy a share of a company, this means that you become a part owner of the company. So whenever you buy, let's just say you bought some shares of Amazon in the US National Stock Exchange, you automatically become a part owner of Amazon. What does this mean? This means when you buy a stock of a company, you become the part owner of the equity. What is the equity? Assets minus liabilities. So what does this mean? Now in the previous scenario itself, let's see, our assets are worth 1 crore, liabilities are worth 75 lakhs, equities are worth 25 lakhs. How? Assets minus liabilities. So when you buy one share of this company, let's just name this company A. When you buy one share of company A, you become a part owner of the equity. Now, why a company issues its shares in the public market is another question which I will cover in the later on videos. Now, let's just say hypothetically that this company A, whose equity is worth 25 lakhs, has issued 5 lakh shares. I will say again, this company A has issued 5 lakh shares. What does this mean? So this has issued 5 lakh shares. Now what this means is, it has issued 5 lakh shares from its equity, which is worth 25 lakh rupees. This is worth 25 lakh rupees. So what is the value of one share? To calculate this, mathematically it is represented by value of equity, which is 25 lakhs, divided by 5 lakh shares. How did I do this? The total value of an object is 25 lakhs and we split that object into 5 lakh pieces. And now what is the value of each object? It is nothing but 25 lakhs divided by 5 lakhs, which turns out to be 5 rupees. How did this happen? Lakhs and lakhs got cancelled. 25 by 5 is nothing but 5 rupees. So, on the basis of the equity, the price of one share is 5 rupees. How? 25 lakh equity. They split their 25 lakh equity into 5 lakh shares. So they split this box into 5 lakh minute particles. I don't have space to draw 5 lakh particles, but you understand how this works. And each particle is worth 5 rupees. How did I get this? I divided 25 lakhs, which is the value of the company, its equity, divided by 5 lakh shares. Hope you got this idea. Now, let's just say this is a publicly traded company. It's on the stock market. So I went there and got 10,000 rupees worth of shares. Now, I'll say this again, 10,000 rupees worth of shares. What does this mean? So, company A, hope you can see the board clearly. Company A, 10,000 rupees worth, I'll maybe draw, it's getting a little messy. 10,000 rupees worth of shares. To calculate, now let's just say I bought 10,000 rupees worth of shares at 5 rupees per share. So how do I calculate the total amount of shares I got? I just divide 10,000 divided by 5 rupees, which I paid for one share. Fine. Turns out to be how much? 5 to the 10, 2, 0, 0, 0. What does this mean? I bought 2,000 shares. I bought 2,000 shares of company A, which was worth 5 rupee per share, which translated into 10,000 rupees worth of shares of company A, which means I own 10,000 rupees worth of 25 lakhs. Hope you got it. I will repeat again. I own 10,000 rupees of 25 lakh. Well, let's just say, for example, a given land costs 25 lakh rupees, but now I own 10 lakh rupees worth of that land by buying 2,000 shares. Now, how do I calculate how much percentage of a company do I own? It says nothing but how much percentage of the equity do I own. It's really simple. What I do, 10 lakh. So 10 lakh divided by 25 lakh. Now, to find how much percentage of a company I own, I do nothing but the amount of money I own of that company, which is 10,000. Yeah, it's nothing but 10,000. 10,000 of a company which is worth 25 lakh. I say it again, the stock means a part owner of the equity. So if I buy 10,000 rupees worth of the equity, I become 10,000 divided by 25 lakhs times 100, which is nothing but 2 by 5 or 0.4. What does this mean? This means nothing that when I buy 10,000 rupees worth of shares, which has an equity of 25 lakh at 5 rupees per share, I own 2/5 of that company, or I own 2/5 of that equity. 2 by 5 is nothing but 0.4. So I own 0.4% of this company. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. And if you didn't understand this, please, I advise you to rewind and watch it again. And if you still didn't understand that, please make a note of what all I am writing, because you can refer the notes easily and that actually improves your learning. Please subscribe and leave a like if you like this video, and leave a comment on what I can improve on, and give me ideas for more content on the future. And don't forget to turn on the bell notification to be the first one to watch my videos. Thank you.